GM friends, and thanks for joining DeFi-Logic's TA Tuesday every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. As a member of DeFi-Logic server, you can request chart reviews and discuss the charts in real time. Check out the link in the video description. In today's community call, we're going to review charts for XRP, Optimism, Cyberconnect, SHIB, ETH, Bitcoin, crypto market cap without Bitcoin and ETH, and for legacy markets, S&P 500, US dollar index, US stock market volatility index, or VIX. And with that, off to you, Eddie.
All right, so quick review about what we looked at last time. We're looking at this support level on SPX, nice weekly demand here. Starting to trade a little bit deeper into it than I originally liked. So last time I spoke about that we would probably come in and take out these lows and possibly these, which we have done, but I'm not seeing really anything bullish on it still. It looks pretty bearish at this moment to me. I'm interested to see what GForce thinks, but at this point, I think we're going to come in and fill this gap at the very least. Again, that's why we look for those bullish triggers, though, that we don't just blindly long because it's support. You know, we want to see some sweeps, we want to see market structure breaks, retests to get long, which we haven't had any of that yet. I was looking at it low time frame to see if I found any shorts, but there's nothing really too interesting to me in shorting this market at the time. I think because I know we're in this weekly support level, I just can't do it unless we possibly get another bounce up to here. And look for another short lower. Unless we already take out the liquidity lower first, then that trade wouldn't be valid anymore. So kind of just chilling there, letting it do its thing. I think it may trade a little bit lower. Again, we can look for signs of reversal. I just don't see any here yet. Same thing with QQQ. Again, it kind of traded a little bit deeper in than I wanted it to. Started to reclaim, but looks like it put in pretty bearish setups at this point. So I think if anything, it may come down and take these lows, possibly these ones too. So a good chance that those go a bit lower, but I'm still personally looking for longs in them if we can. It just may take a little bit longer than I originally anticipated, and we may drop down a little bit further. Let's see, we also looked at coin last time. Coin is basically just doing what I kind of anticipated. We're trading deeper into this channel. We haven't gotten this sweep of this low yet. I still think that's most likely going to come here. You can start flipping long on it again. If you start to reclaim this, start to put in some bullish PA above it, you can look to get long, or again, like last time, once you reclaim this channel, or above up here on the longer time frame range. But for now, I think it's just I'm still waiting for it to see a really actionable long to get set up, and I really think that this is going to be the trade for it still. That's what it looks like, at least. Bitcoin, pretty much right after we streamed, the whole market just nuked, which is a bit unfortunate. But I guess there was some bearish news that came out. I remember I was watching this candle happen, and a bunch of my friends were talking about some sort of news, SpaceX selling or something. But it came into a pretty obvious support zone, and it's looking to establish probably another lower time frame range right here. I'm actually looking to get back long into this if we can start trading, maybe taking out some of these lows. If I could get a sweep of these lows, 1 hour market structure break, I will definitely long this. Aiming to about right here. I think this, even if we trade up first or if we trade down first, we're going to get capped up in this FVG area right here. Fair value gap, I'm pretty sure, is going to stop price. There's a couple of the EMAs I like to look at right up in that area as well. So we got daily MA 100 and 4H EMA 200 all up in that zone too. So I think Bitcoin bounces are for shorting, but I will look to get long if we get a sweep of these lows. Ethereum, same thing. It traded a bit lower than I was hoping for any bullish. Really, I was wanting these levels to hold to remain bullish on this stuff. I already deleted this one, but I was like around here, right? So it's still not like terrible, but it's just not as bullish as I would have liked it to be. Ethereum, probably the same thing as Bitcoin. Look to see if it takes out some of these lows, since it is, you know, an altcoin. Technically, it may even trade a little bit lower down to here, but any sweeps of lows with some structure breaks, you can look to long, but I think the actual trade is to be shorting the bounces. I also looked at Ape. I was pretty wrong here on Ape. I got stopped out on it. I guess we should have shorted it. Sorry, bro. But I never got, the bounce that I wanted either. It just basically kept, since we streamed, it just was down only. So the unlock timed in with, Bitcoin and Ethereum selling off, it would have been a great short, but I had to take the bullish setup on it because I just really liked the way it was looking, and, it's been invalidated everywhere. I still think this is a great spot to accumulate, though. Anything below $2 is, in my opinion, pretty golden for Ape, assuming that they have, a second run, which of course they could just very well die. If you want to be less risky, you wanted to see some reclaims of some of these lows up here. Same thing with CAS. So right when we were streamed, I had longed CAS when it hit right around here, and I had a low. My stop loss was just right below that daily low, although I originally wanted to, place it below these. So we pumped pretty much straight into my TP1, but we barely missed it. And I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't take any off the table. If I was watching the chart, so we were streaming around here, and then it pumped right, almost barely missed it where I had my TP level set. If I was watching, I would have taken some off here and then gone to break even. I wasn't watching, so I let the trade play out. I ended up getting stopped out right around break even because Bitcoin and Ethereum were just nuking. And then also I was considering getting back in as it's retesting again right now, but I just don't love it at this moment. I don't really have a clear read on it currently. So I think I'd rather wait for lower or for higher at this point. When you look at the daily, it kind of looks like it may trade down into some of these lows down here, but I don't have the best read on CAS right now. So moving on to what we were going to look at for this week, though. Just want to do a quick recap of what we saw last time. XRP, SEC stated in August 18th filing that they did not make the argument that the underlying asset, XRP, is a security. Instead, they are focused on how the asset is sold. The question of if XRP is an asset or not is now off the table for good. So let's look at it. So we went over XRP last time too, and I said I really wanted to see this daily support resistance zone flipped and held. And when the crypto market sold off, it dipped way down below it, which isn't really what I wanted to see at all. So same thing still on the table. If we can flip this SR level, then I think you have an argument to get bullish up to at least right here and then see what happens. I would probably just fully exit the position and then look to see if it can reclaim this level and kind of just play it level by level, right? But the way it's looking right now, I think this is going to trade lower. It had a couple closes in a row below this little high time frame SR level. I'm sure if we zoomed in lower time frames, we could probably see something on it. I don't know. This chart is just such a mess to me right now. So we traded lower than I initially wanted to. Let's just kind of create a new bias with it. See, when you see this big wick, that's a sign that there's obviously demand in this area. So let's see if I can quickly establish anything here. I still like the same zone. The picture hasn't changed much for me on XRP, so let's just bring that chart back up. I think your two trades are this. You need to wait for us to flip this high right here in order to get bullish to this level. You want to fully TP. If you're still a bull, wait till we flip those highs so we get these ones and just play it level to level like that. But I do think that you need to be careful because, in my opinion, there's a good chance that instead of flipping it, we just reject it and we come down to the range low again. That's how I'd be playing this. You want a TP1 if you do short at the mid-range. XRP just kind of looks like it's doing nothing to me. OP. Optimism announced an NFT drop this Thursday, so be on the lookout for it. Let's see how it's doing. I remember a few of my friends were shorting OP the day of the nuke, and then that news dropped and it kind of just basically blasted them all out. So looking at it on a daily perspective, so I think this is a pretty important area. This is the Binance chart, so it should be one of the ones with the most data on it. And you can see how, price has always done some stuff around it. So it initially capped it, and then it blasted through it, but then deviated it, and then we basically traded it all the way back down to the lows. And then when it came through it again and retested it, you had new highs. So it's been a pretty significant area. And as you can see, a lot of people have been kind of taking profit and defending this level. So it's definitely a high time frame area. I think even if you got above it, you got to be wary of this zone right here, though. And that also kind of lines up with this high time frame resistance here, too. On more of a short term day trade perspective, I mean, you still get a 10% move. I'd want to maybe wait for a daily close up above this zone and see if you can find a low time frame trigger to really define your risk to reward. Like if you got onto a 15-minute level, you could probably see just some of the same triggers that we need. So market structure breaks and then the retest of it, you could probably get like a good 5-hour trade out of it. But as far as just high time frame, it seems like we're in a pretty good resistance level to me. If we flip it on a daily close above, you can look to trade up into this zone, and I'd fully exit that. If you're an investor of Optimism, I don't like it at this level at all. For that side of things, I'd be looking to buy closer, a little bit lower. So, same idea as what we talked about last time. It's just kind of in a big high time frame accumulation zone. So in my opinion, you want to stay on the lower half of it for that type of stuff. So down into this discount area for anything like that. Kind of a tricky chart though too, because this big wick shows bullishness in this whole zone here, but we have resistance here. So unless you bought the dip on it, you kind of don't have a trade here unless we start flipping this zone right here. If we flip that, then we have clear skies to these highs and these highs as well. For now, you just need to be patient and either get lower. We might do something like this. Crypto loves to kind of do this type of stuff where we start to fill back in this wick. You might find a setup here. And then at that point, you want to take profit 1 here and take profit 2 here. Maybe leave a little bit just to reaccumulate if you start to see some more bullishness. So I think this would be my A trade right here, waiting for it to dip down here, see if I can find a bullish structure developing here as we fill in this wick. T1, T2, T1 right here. Cyber, so this is a new coin. Cyberconnect, a Web3 social network, was listed on spot Binance last week, and the futures contract up to 20x leverage went live yesterday. So this is the spot chart. It's got a bit more data on it. These new coins, they can be sometimes really good. They can sometimes trade like fool's gold. So you need to be careful with them. I know a lot of people like to trade them, but they can be pretty tough. So the way I like to trade these new coins is just range plays. So let's drive down a little bit lower because there's not much data on the chart. We'll go to 30-minute. Okay. So you just want to establish your range highs and your range lows. I'd probably do it like this for now. You're right here in the middle range, which I don't like playing in the middle range. However, we did trade deep into these fibs right here. They're considered the OTE. We did trade into it, and we're kind of putting some low time frame bullish structure in it. I'm actually long this right now, so I'm not playing the middle range, but I did buy some of this a bit ago, and my stop loss is going to be right here currently. But I'm mostly just looking for us to trade up to here. So it's just a very low time frame short trade. As far as a little bit more actionable, like if you're watching this right away, you can get in, put stops down here. Like I'm basically in this trade right now. Your entry is better than mine. I think mine's like right here. It's not the best trade. It's like 1R only, 2. So that's me right now. The higher probability trades are to see if it comes back down to this range low area. I feel like this level could definitely get tagged. We'll look at the box instead. We could come back down into here again. And then you'd want to buy that all the way down to here. I would do like a soft stop loss if we start closing below this low right here, because then you have no idea how far it's going to go down. That's the other thing with these new launches is like, depending on the tokenomics, it could just keep going down only. Other thing you can do, if you don't get the dip that you like, this is currently our low. Here's the high that took out the low. If you get a 15-minute close above that, you can buy a little bit. And then if it retests, you can buy some more with your stop loss being the local low of it. Okay, that's the same setup I've always talked about. Or if we start to flip these highs right here, you can get in again and you can aim for these highs over here. That's how I would play this. The risky trade is entering now. The better trade is waiting for these fill in here. Another decent one is flipping these highs right here. The other less risky one is flipping these highs right here. This could do a whole lot of nothing. This could just, go like this. Sometimes new coins do that. Let's move to SHIB. So the layer 2 launched, and I remember they were piping this up pretty hard, but it was a dud with almost a day-long pause in transactions due to development issues. However, there was a $38 million SHIB transfer from BitVavo to an unknown wallet yesterday. So let's look at this. So this is the Binance futures market of it. Jesus, it just looks terrible. SHIB had its heyday, right? I'm sure everybody in crypto remembers this. But it's just done nothing since then. And you would imagine that the L2 launching would have done something more bullish to the chart, but it's doing absolutely nothing at all. It's not what you want to see for SHIB lovers. I don't know. When I look at this, I just imagine that you can make so much money anywhere else. I wouldn't touch this at all. Unless, again, we start flipping key levels. So I want to see us get above this 137 area before I'd even consider playing with it. It's just not doing anything. You have that whole hype and nothing at all happens. That is so sad to see. 67% move. I mean, all my grandparents would love that, but for crypto, that's nothing. This looks bad. So let me see if I can give you guys something actionable though. So technically, we are above these kind of key lows right here. You could argue that this is a setup right here. something like this, stop below this low. You'd want to take some profit getting into this area right here and some more right here. And then your moon bag up to there. I think you can find a lot more ways to make money other than SHIB right now. Technically, this is a setup right here, right? Because on the daily level, if this is your low here, and this is your high that created the low, or you could even argue that this is the high, and that's maybe internal structure, and this is the actual structure. We closed above it, and we're trading into this zone. So if you want to take a punt on SHIB, I think right here is the place to do it. It's a pretty wide stop loss, but that's just how I would go. Maybe right here, some closes below that, and I'd get out. If you want to be safer, go down to here. I wonder if it's got any key EMAs in this area. Nope, it does not. So you could take this. You'd want to TP right around this level, and then a good chunk of it be almost fully out if you trade up to this level, and then anywhere as we're trading into this zone up to the blue line, like just be scaling out of it from there. And then your trade's done until we're up above here again, in my opinion. And then we'd have to mark a new range. I'm not going to do that right now because this is really the only thing I see currently. But I really think there's lots of other better looking charts out there. If you just love SHIB, here's kind of what you would be looking at to do. And so the last one that I got that I'll go over is Total 3 again. So we went over Total 3 last time. Not much has changed, just because, in my opinion, this isn't really a chart that you trade, but it's just more so something that you look at to get an idea of what the market is doing. And we pretty much did exactly what we're anticipating. I was talking about that it could come down into this level again, which it did. We see some support there, but not much follow through. So there's a chance that it just kind of hovers around here. There is a chance that it trades down here. If you see something like this, actually, I wanted to mention this. Because last time I was on stream, I said you could pretty much accumulate whatever you like, because we're in this huge macro accumulation zone from up here to up here, and this was the mid range, and this was like the OTE level of this mini range right here. And I said you could pretty much buy whatever you want, and if you want to define risk, get out if we start to lose these high time frame highs. However, there is a chance that we do something that crypto always does and deviate the lows. So if we do that, and we come in, as soon as we get back into this range and reclaim these lows, I think that's when you can unload a lot of your dry powder at this point. Because if you see something like that, take out the high time frame lows and come back and close within again, that should be your confirmation that the low is in. My risk is going to be whatever new low is created, and I have all my exposure into altcoins at this point. There's a chance that doesn't happen, but I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that scenario that could play out. But in my opinion, I think we continue to just do this bit for a while, though. Just continue accumulating the zone. Yeah, right. That's the plan on this. And then, of course, if you still have money by the time we're reclaiming all this stuff, like definitely get exposed, because you hope that after we leave this zone, we trade into new highs. That's what everyone involved in the industry wants to see, I believe. So yeah, just be aware if you are buying levels right now, I think it's fine. If we do take out the lows, that's okay as long as we get back into it. So maybe if we do take out the lows, you could de-risk a little bit if you need to. And as soon as we get back in, you can go all in again. That's just a possibility. Most likely we just continue to chop around in this range for another year. But I think that's all I had on my end. So I'll pass it on over.
Thanks, Eddie. And now we will bring up John to go over some of the legacy market stuff.
Thank you. I'm going to go over to the legacy markets, the S&P 500. I'm also going to do the dollar index, the DXY. And also today I'm going to do the VIX, which is considered the fear gauge. First we're going to look at is the S&P 500. All charts are daily charts. That's everything that I always present, a daily chart, because I feel that's the king of charts, and that is what people want to see is what's actually happening. And it is definitely, daily charts to me are the most accurate. So that's why I present them. This is a daily chart of S&P 500, but before I get into it, I want to let you guys know that all these legacy markets this week are going to be predicated on the Reserve Bank Chairman Conference at Jackson Hole, Wyoming. They're all meeting this week at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with other central bankers around the world. So they have a conclusion on Friday where Chairman Powell is going to speak, and he's going to give a outlook hopefully a long-term outlook and also a short-term outlook, and hopefully is not evasive. But these legacy markets this week are all going to be predicated on that speech on Friday. So everything's going to be trading not radically up and down, but somewhat sideways, I would think, until Friday. So let's look at the 500. This is today where it's down about 14 points, maybe a little bit lower. But what I like to do is go back to Friday. Okay, Friday's right here. You'll see that Friday went below 2x standard band. It opened lower because the whole week prior, this is Thursday, Wednesday, everything was going down starting last week, Monday, right here. I had an inkling that this was going to happen because of on Thursday, this day prior, the wick Friday hit the standard deviation and then came back down. And then Friday was a nothing day. So that was 2 weeks ago Friday right here. So Monday, it tried 2x band and the 3x band. So I've seen this over the years. I've seen this, and that's what I was looking for. And I actually did a call option right there on Friday. So that actually hit right there between the 2x band and the 3x band. It hit right at the halfway point, and then it popped back up the rest of the day. So last week in the daily dose, I post every Saturday on Stock Saturday. I post my weekly plays. And last week, the option plays were 5 for 5. Monday through Thursday were all put. And then on Friday, there's a call, and it worked out. So the reason why I did the call again was because it opened lower, hit that halfway point between the 2x band and the 3x band, and then it came back up. Yesterday, which was Monday, it came up again, and then Tuesday we have a little bit of a retracement. For the S&P 500, the speech goes well. Standard deviation, which is this line, is going to start moving down. As you see, it's curved. It's been curving, and it's moving downwards. So they're going to meet price action and the standard deviation line, the black line. They are going to meet at some point. So whether it's this week, it'll meet if everybody takes Chairman Powell's speech positively, it'll definitely run back up. But if that speech, again, I hate to say that, this market's always been news driven with economic for the last year or two. It's going to hit standard deviation line. It might wick up to it and then come back down if people in the market take Chairman Powell's speech negatively. Next, we're going to move on to is the DXY. DXY is basically, a lot of people in crypto believe that DXY is inverse correlation with crypto itself. So I've been following it for several months now, since June. You'll see that it formed a double top right here, and that was back June 30th right here, and then also July 3rd right there. It's formed a double top, and once it broke this midpoint right here on the double top, you'll see that it kind of looks like an M. Okay, once it broke that midpoint, I knew things were going to go lower. And sure enough, they just kept climbing down, down, down. It hit the 3x band right here, the lower 3x band again right here. And then since that, it's just rocketed up. It's kept going, kept going. And this point, it actually hit the 2x upper band on this day. The key with that is that it broke these two double top highs at the end of June and beginning of July. So now it's just climbing higher, which it should. That's what I put also in TA reports. I also put that in there. And on this day right here, which was last week, Thursday, it's just gone up and now it's starting to trade sideways. And the reason why we have sideways action right here is because, again, the Federal Reserve Chairman, which is going to be on Friday. The last one I'm doing is the VIX. Now, the VIX is basically the volatility index. Just a brief on this is that the nickname is the fear gauge. So when the VIX is down in the lower range, and this has been really low for the last, it's a low point for the last 2 or 3 years, which is around 13 points right here, and 14, it's traded in this range. That means there's complacency in the market. People are complacent, nothing's going on. It did pop in the first part of July, but nothing's really happened. And then when the VIX is much higher, there's a little bit of fear that will be coming in, and which would be the market start to form some volatility. So I watch this quite a bit because weekly option plays needs volatility for them to win. Now you'll see that actually the VIX started popping up last week. That's why we had a 5 for 5 winner, because we had the VIX. When the VIX is down here in the 13, 14 range, no volatility, and we might get 2 winners out of 5. We might get 2.5 out of 5. But this range, which the market has not been in this range, this 13 to 14 point range in a long, long time.
So that's it for this week. Remember, as a member of DeFi-Logic, you can post requests in the Daily Dose forum, and we'll review your coins, assets, and tradable proxies in the next call. Also, DeFi-Logic members interested in alpha testing the ETH spot trading indicator and new XRP strategy developed by Cryptix. The service is free until we launch. Also, DeFi-Logic is a freemium service for members who join prior to public launch. As an early member, you'll gain free lifetime access to the server, steep discounts on other products and services that we develop in the future. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at 12 p.m. Mountain Time next Tuesday. GM, friends.
Join us next week in Discord for TA at DeFiLogic.com.